Welcome to our next edition of PWM's Fireside Chat. As always, I'm joined by Bill Prentice. Bill, I'm looking forward to today's session. But sitting next to Bill, Tony Vaccaro. Thank you so much for joining us today. We've got a great session around taxes, everyone's favorite topic to hit as we kick off the new year. I do say that in jest. Ultimately, there's a lot of great information I know you guys have to share today. And as not only a host of this program, but as one of your clients, I'm thrilled with what you're bringing to the table for 2025 and going forward. I want to start by grounding all of our viewers with really the role taxes play within Prentice Wealth Management, why you guys put so much effort to it, and ultimately, what does it mean to you? So I'm going to start with you, Bill. How would you answer those questions?
So taxes are largely embedded in everything we do, right? From a financial planning organization, investment management organization, taxes are implicit to everyone's life and plan, whether it's, on the base case, payroll, right? Amassing wealth and the hindrances it can provide there, to optimizing a financial plan for certain tax outcomes. And there can be different competing tax outcomes, kind of current self versus future self. And that's often one of those competing outcomes. But the core reason we got into taxes had to do basically with what we saw in the marketplace. And we saw service that wasn't up to what we thought the standard should be, and what we wanted our clients to experience, and the cost. So we endeavored to provide a convenient service for our clients at a fair price. It started out as much a value price, maybe even more than a fair price. And it's never been our goal to really make money on this service. It's been our goal to integrate tax more closely with the financial planning engine, understanding process, and provide our clients a convenient service so to handle their legal obligation. And so enter in one of our very important tax people, Tony Vaccaro. He's been here since the beginning of this, the brainchild when it was launched. And he's been great. I know a lot of our clients know Tony and his tax expertise, and he's very good at what he does.
So, Bill, I couldn't agree more. Having personal experience with Tony over the years, I know the value that he brings not only to the tax business within and across the organization, but at a personal level to each of his clients. So, Tony, welcome here today. One of the things I think our viewers would be interested in is what is new this year? What are some of the things that you plan on bringing to this solution going forward?
Well, Jim, believe it or not, this year we're actually adding both depth and experience to our Prentice Wealth Management tax offering.
So what does that mean to us?
So we've added 2 new tax preparers for this upcoming season, one of which many of our clients already have some level of experience with. Maddie Davidson actually received her enrolled agent designation back in October of last year. So she is now fully licensed to represent all taxpayers before the IRS on any matter. So she will be joining us as a new tax preparer this year. In addition to Maddie, we'll also be adding Steve Friga as part of the PWM tax team. Now, we've worked with Steve on more of a referral basis over the last few years, but we're finally bringing Steve in to be actually part of the team. Steve brings with him over 40 years of experience doing this, but to be quite honest, the one thing that may actually surpass his experience is his attention to detail. I really think he's next to no one in that aspect.
That's amazing, Tony. I love kind of the growth of the team and really, again, what it's going to mean for your client base. Talk to me. It sounds like you're excited about the new team. What are your thoughts as we go forward?
Jim, really, you took the word right out of my mouth. Excited. This really is now a team that we've assembled, and I'm really looking forward to the opportunity to work side by side with both Steve and Maddie. The biggest change that our clients are going to see is that it is truly a team approach now. I expect that the vast majority of our tax clients will actually end up interacting with multiple throughout the process. Um, on top of it, these additions, I think, they do much more than just expand our capacity. Our clients should realize faster turnaround times, improved responsiveness, and just hopefully a better tax preparation experience altogether.
So, Tony, it sounds like it's going to be a much better client experience going forward. Tell us a little bit more about what that looks like.
So, in prior years, Jim, we've really approached tax as much more of a one size fits all concept, if you will. This year, we will be offering to our clients 3 distinct levels of service. So, our first level of service, our silver level of service, this is going to actually come in at a price point which is approximately a 25% discount to our previous price point. So it will be an opportunity for people to save a few dollars on their tax returns. This is really designed for people with less complex tax situations. We're talking people that have either W-2 income, retirement income, investment income, or just some combination of the three. The other big thing is that this will be available to all clients who can get us all of their information before the end of the day on February 21st. So that's kind of our first level. The next level that we have is our gold service level. This really aligns most closely with what we've offered our clients previous to this year. So this is going to be the next level up in complexity, where it's not just a W-2 income. You could have a small business, one of those gig side hustles. You could have a rental property at this level. The big difference, the big step up from silver to gold is that this does include a live 30-minute review with a tax advisor. And we really feel that the vast majority of our tax clients are going to fall into this level. And then last but not least, we do offer a level of service. Now, this really is something that will be beneficial for people who need in-depth, comprehensive tax planning. So where if you think about it's straight up preparation. Gold, it's preparation plus it's guidance based on what we're looking at for the current tax year. But then we step up to platinum. We're really looking at all the different ways we can help you improve your tax situation, not just in this year, but moving forward.
So this is helpful, Tony, and I appreciate kind of the breakdown between those three. One of the other things I thought I heard you say is, this emphasis around getting information in a timely fashion, right? You mentioned the February date. Talk to us a little bit about the importance of being proactive through the tax season.
Yes, absolutely. The sooner you can get us your information, the better. For more reasons than one. I mean, one big thing is just statistically, the earlier you file, likely you are to be a victim of identity theft in your taxes. You often see the people that go on extension. They are the people who get their identities stolen and somebody else files a return with their information. So that's one reason to file earlier. Beyond that, just because of the way we're structuring now, we are cutting off the ability to do the more basic and less expensive options as we get deeper into the tax season. Waiting until later, if you have an extremely simple tax situation, you are going to be increasing your cost without adding any value.
Gotcha. Okay. So, and as I think of tax season, and I think most of us out there, we always think about April 15th being tax day, right? But are there other important dates that, PWM tax clients should be aware of?
Absolutely, Jim. This year, actually, April 15th is the tax deadline. Many years it's the 16th or the 17th based on weekends and this and that, but this year it actually is April 15th. And that will push out the deadline for those who file on extension to October 15th. But aside from that, other important dates people want to be aware of, a very important one is March 17th. This is the deadline for anyone who has a partnership or as an S corporation to get their tax filing done or get their extensions filed. So a lot of people don't realize that those different entities do have an earlier deadline. So that's something to be aware of. As far as non-deadlines, just other important dates, January 27th is the actual opening of federal filing this year. So we can't do any filing, for individuals until January 27th. February 21st, that is our cutoff, that if you want to participate in the silver service offering, you got to get us all your information before close of business on February 21st. The gold cutoff is pushed back to March 20th. So you've got a few weeks after that to get information in. And then anything that comes in after the 20th will automatically default to our platinum service level. But the last date to keep in mind is March 27th. If you get us all your information before the close of business on March 27th, we will guarantee that we will get you filed before the end of the day on April 15th. Anyone who comes in after March 27th, we will put you on an automatic extension. We'll still do our best to get you filed by April 15th, but it will be on a best efforts basis at that point.
Okay. Good. So it seems to me like we've hit a lot of key areas, right? We talked about the growth of the team and what role that's going to play going forward. We talked about the different level of service offerings that you have now within tax preparation, and you just went through key dates. Any final reminders for our listeners that are important as part of the process?
Once we get past the end of the calendar year, there are limits on what we can do for people, but not everything is gone. As a reminder, you've got until April 15th to make contributions to your IRA, your Roth IRA, your HSA, if you're eligible and if it's suitable for you to do so. Additionally, if you are a small business owner, you've got until your tax filing deadline, including extensions, to make contributions to a SEP IRA or a profit sharing plan. And for things like that, I strongly advise anybody listening, if they have a question, hey, is this for me? Should I be doing this? Call your wealth management advisor, ask him, ask her, and allow them to guide.
I love it. Good. Tony, thank you so much for all the insight. I want to turn it back to Bill just before we close. Talk to us a little bit more about, again, your vision of the role tax preparation plays with the client base, and again, just your philosophy behind why it's so important.
Yeah, so I think it's important to us. So if I can start there, because it helps us be better planners, right? The more we know, the more intimate we are with the data, the better we can be in terms of not only in current terms, but also in future terms in planning and seeing the arc of planning that will materialize from a tax perspective. So that's really important to tighter financial planning is the point. It's a role that we feel compelled to help our clients with. And to be honest, from a business perspective, there's very few business consultants that would come in and say, you should be doing this. I started this out on the front end. It's never been our aim to make money on this. The aim this year is not that at all. It's to reflect the service levels and also to remove some of the stress on the system. I remember when I was a kid, my parents were, let's say they were a little tardy on the deadline, and we had to drive from our house to Syracuse to drop their taxes at the Syracuse post office, so it would be postmarked by midnight that night. And it were the only post office, right, that hadn't been picked up. So we made a midnight run for tax filing. So we're trying to provide some benefits and incentives, right? I'm an economics nerd, so we're trying to provide some incentives for people to help us relieve some of the pressure that is inherent to the tax filing season. And file earlier, get your stuff in, and we're going to extend, as Tony said, the silver offering is 25% cheaper than what our base offering was last year. And so we're trying to provide that inducement, that incentive, so that they don't end up coming in and clogging the system toward the middle and the end of the tax filing season. And it may not be obvious, but Tony highlighted the March 17th deadline this year for small businesses. There's only about a month for small business owners to file. There's really no way for them not to put pressure on the system. But for the more normal, as I like to call them, tax returns, maybe two spouses that are working, a couple of kids, a house, an investment account, and some retirement accounts, that can be done early in the season. Mm-hmm. Especially with the rules now where there's a lot more people taking the standard deduction instead of itemizing. And we just want to provide an incentive, an inducement, and encouragement for people to get that in because we want to help. But it can be very stressful on Tony and the team if everything's coming in toward the end. He's already lost his hair. We don't want to see him lose any more.
Thank you, Bill. I appreciate that.
Well, and again, I do appreciate the context, Bill. I think that in addition to what we heard from Tony as far as the tactical elements of why we're doing that and some of, again, the improvements going forward gives a good understanding for our listeners as we prep into tax season. So before we end today's session, I'll throw it back to both of you. Is there anything that we missed that you wanted to make sure got across?
I only have one other thing. The website's up. It's got the pricing on it. Any questions, call the office. Please do it as soon as possible. So I encourage everybody to go to our website. It's underneath the resources tab. And it's, I believe it's PrenticeWealth.com/tax-resources, if I'm not mistaken. But go to the website. It's right there. And it outlines this year's process and procedures. One additional comment for those that tuned in and they were like, where's the market detail? We haven't forgot about that, but we wanted to get the tax information out so that no one's surprised this year. We wanted to also show off Tony a little bit and get him on video and really just get everyone prepared for what invariably is going to be, it's always a little bit of a hectic tax season, but we think we're getting close, right? We continue to try to improve and iterate. I'm not saying this is perfect. It's probably not. We'll probably tweak it again, but we want to continue to improve the service and service and provide the deliverable clients need.
Wonderful. Well, again, thank you both again for your time, your insights. Definitely a lot of great information in today's session. So thank you again. I look forward to seeing you again next month. Bye all.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks, Jim. Have a good one.